Okay, so we are just about good to start. If anyone has any trouble with seeing my screen or hearing me, please use the chat bottom left to let me know. For questions and comments, the chat is where to go. There's like an ask question button on like the top of the window there. Try not to use that. Just use the chat if you want to ask any questions or comment. The way it's going to work in general is I'm going to be the only one able to speak, so it's just audio from me. All the other participants' audio is going to be muted. If you want to comment or question, just use the chat. Okay, we're going to start the webinar just about now. For those of you who just came in, my name is James from Rearview Safety. This is our first webinar, so it's exciting. We'll hopefully start doing these about once a month, maybe once every 2 months. And it's going to be, this one's going to be on newly released products, so a bunch of products that we released recently. And we're going to end up with some gift ideas as well for the holidays. I'm going to basically go through each of the products, and then we'll have like a short kind of time for just some quick questions. It's going to be an overview, so we're not going to get into so much detail for each product, but it's just going to kind of introduce each one. So then after each product, we'll have a time for any questions quickly, and then we'll move on to the next. All right, so let's get right into it. First product that we are going to look at here is a Wi-Fi hitch camera. So for whoever's familiar with some of our products, we had a wireless hitch camera, a very popular item. We had that product for a while, and this is basically the exact same thing. Just instead of viewing the camera view on a designated display, it creates a Wi-Fi network, and you can view it on a mobile device. So like an iPhone or an Android, like smartphone or tablet, can be used to view the camera view. Other functions of the camera are exactly the same. So it's a waterproof camera with a magnetic mount. So what you do is you just kind of slap it onto the back of the, usually the tow vehicle, so the back of the truck. So it installs, straight away. It's battery operated, so you don't need to. There's no installation. You don't need to wire it to any power. And then all you do is you slap it on, you hit the power. It creates a Wi-Fi network, and then on your smartphone, on your let's say iPhone or Android device, you connect to that Wi-Fi network, and then open the app that's associated with this system, and you'll be able to see the camera view. So really cool system, probably even easier than the other wireless hitch camera. So, and it's also a little bit cheaper because it doesn't come with a display. So a bunch of benefits. Mainly what it's used for is going to be hitching. That's why we call it the hitch camera. So because it's battery operated, it only lasts for, let's say, about 5 to 6 hours. So it's really just designed to use a couple minutes at a time. Let's say you want to hitch a travel trailer to your pickup truck. Instead of, having another person, help you out or do it a couple times, having to get out of the vehicle, you just slap this on the back of your tow truck. You'll be able to easily align now your truck and your trailer, with the view that you see on your mobile device. So it's a battery operated. It's also a rechargeable battery. So all you do once the battery runs out, instead of replacing that battery, it's a 9-volt battery. Instead of replacing it, it comes with like a USB cable. You just plug it right in, and that recharges. It also is completely waterproof with an IP68 rating, so you can use it in almost all weather conditions. It'll be okay. And it comes with excellent night vision. It comes with 6 infrared lights, so even at nighttime, even when there's no like ambient light around, you'll still be able to use this hitch camera. You'll still get a great view, from it on your mobile device, even at nighttime. Someone has a question here, effective distance. So the distance for this is 50 feet. So even with things in between the camera and the device you're displaying it on, your mobile device, it can go 50 feet. So that'll be through vehicles, through anything. It'll be good for 50 feet. Any other questions on this system here? Charging time. Charging time is about 8 hours. So if you keep that plugged in for 8 hours, it'll give you a full charge. Basically, you would probably just leave it overnight. That's probably the best way to do it, and that'll give you a full charge on the battery. I see a question here about resolution. It's not going to be the greatest resolution as it's a Wi-Fi connection. So wireless and Wi-Fi in general is never going to get as good a resolution as a wired camera system. So the resolution is not going to be great, but it'll be a solid picture, and you'll be able to see clearly what's behind you. So yeah, I mean Wi-Fi and wireless in general, you kind of lose image quality for convenience. That's how it works. Camera orientation. Joseph, I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that. You're saying, which way does it mount? Or do you mean like, is it a mirror image or a normal image? Mount on side trailer. Oh, so I mean, it's designed as a backup camera. So if you mount it sideways, the image is gonna be, sideways. So it's really designed to mount right at the back of the tow vehicle, pointed straight down at the hitch. All right, if there's no more questions, we're going to move along. All right, so next system we want to highlight here is another system we came out with recently, and that is a full HD backup camera system. So this is really cool because backup cameras in general, I mean, across the board, don't have the greatest resolution. I mean, it's just usually not designed that way. So we came out with this system, which is a full HD backup camera system. So really cool. So it'll give you the camera and monitor full HD. So the camera will, has a lens that's capable of full HD. The monitor displays full HD, which is 1920 at 1080. So it's a whole lot better than our regular camera systems, and usually camera systems in general aren't the greatest quality. So this is a full HD one. Comes with 2 ports, so you can connect 2 cameras. Each of those ports have a separate trigger wire. Trigger wires are if you want to kind of have your system in a standby mode and then trigger on when you do a certain action in the vehicle, for example, go into reverse. You can do that for both of those cameras. So you can have one camera trigger on when you go into reverse. You can connect the other trigger wire to a separate switch or to really any kind of control you want. It gives you a lot of flexibility with these cameras also. 120-degree viewing angle, so it's pretty standard on a backup camera. 8 infrared lights, it'll give you excellent night vision again. Also, the infrared lights will come out automatically. This is the same thing with the Hitch camera and really all of our night vision and infrared lights. They don't need any control or switch or anything to get them on. It's an automatic function. As soon as it gets dark enough that the camera can't see properly, those infrared lights will come on and they'll provide a good image, for your camera. Waterproof, weatherproof. That has an IP69K rating. That's actually the highest IP rating there is. So it can go through, really anything. Power washing. You can submerge in the water even. I mean, so any weather conditions it'll be fine with on the back of the vehicle. It also comes with distance grid lines. So those grid lines that show you kind of how far you have to obstacles behind you. Those only activate, similar to a lot of our camera systems, they only display when a trigger wire is activated. The reason for that is that usually when you use it as just a backup camera, it's with the trigger wire. So if you want to have it on continuously, you usually don't want to have those distance grid lines displayed, so that's why we built it with that function. Any questions on this system? Screen size. It's a 7-inch display. So it's very similar to our other 7-inch displays, 7-inch in diagonal display. Do we make lens protectors for cameras? That's a good question. As of now, we do not have any lens protector for this camera, but I mean, the cameras are really heavy duty. So if you would feel one, you would understand what I mean. They're really solid, they're heavy, they're made for the outdoors. So you don't really need any lens protector on it. You should be fine in all conditions. Can it see through back windows? So it's a good question in general. We usually recommend not going through the rear window with backup cameras. The reason is because the infrared lights could reflect off the windshield and bounce back into the camera, unless you press it like really right up to the back window. But we usually don't recommend it. We usually recommend just mounting outside. 1 second. Oh, so do you have a blind spot sensor system? A blind spot camera, I suppose you mean like a side camera? So as of now, we only have the backup cameras for this. So you can connect just one backup camera or 2 backup cameras, but we don't have any side cameras for this at this time. Switchable image? No. So it's only going to be a backup image. It's not going to be similar to our other systems where you have that mirror and normal image control. It's only going to have the mirror image function. It's designed as a backup camera, so that's the only function that we have for this one. But that's a good point. It could be something that we'll come out with. Okay, we're going to move along. We're running a little late. Third one that we want to display. This is a Chevy Express third brake light backup camera. So we have, if you might be familiar with our products, we have a whole line of third brake light cameras. The way they work is that you, usually on like cargo vans or pickup trucks, you replace the third brake light in the back on the top. That brake light there you replace with our brake light, which has a backup camera installed in it. That's how these, that's how the whole kind of line of third brake light cameras work. So we had one for the Chevy Express. This is an updated version. What it has is basically the main difference is that it has a rotatable lens. So the old Chevy Express third brake light camera didn't actually tilt down far enough to see the hitch and the bumper on the Chevy Express. This one can. So that's the main difference there. 170-degree viewing angle, so ultra wide, really gives you a full view behind the vehicle. 9 infrared lights for that night vision, completely waterproof, IP68, and it's for Chevy and Savannah bodies from 2003 through 2016. Fairly straightforward. That you can connect this camera to any one of our monitors. We can also send it with RCA adapters if you want to connect it to like a in-dash monitor or a radio monitor or anything like that. So yeah, it can really go to any monitor also. Pretty straightforward camera. Any questions on that? Okay, seems like we're good. It's pretty straightforward, that one. Moving right along here. Alright, so here we have a backup camera system with GPS navigation built into the display. Again, we also had an older version of this. This is just an updated version. So it comes with a whole bunch of cool things. It has a touch display to control all the functions. New navigation with Sigig maps. It has 3 channels. Our old one used to just be a 1-channel one. This is a 3-channel one. So you could connect up to 3 cameras to it. And that could be any camera. So unlike the HD system we looked at before, it was like these specific HD cameras. This system, you can connect any one of our cameras. So the system that you're looking at here comes with our regular 770 camera. So our most popular backup camera. You can connect side cameras to that, any other camera that in our whole range really to this system. It also comes with trigger wires for each of those ports. Like we mentioned before, that allows you to trigger on those cameras automatically when you do certain functions. So what you would really do with this system is you would probably have the navigation on the whole time, or running continuously, and then the trigger wires will activate the backup or the cameras when you do a certain function. So let's say you go into reverse, the backup camera will kick in. So the specs for the camera is going to be just like our regular camera. There'll be 130-degree viewing angle, 18 infrared lights, so it really has excellent night vision, and highest IP rating of 69K for to be completely waterproof. Does it offer truckers navigation? I'm not sure what you mean by that question, to be honest. Does it offer truckers navigation? I mean, it's just standard. If you can explain that question, it'd be good. But it's just standard GPS navigation. I think I know what you're talking about, and if it is, it doesn't offer that. It just has the standard GPS navigation. But if you want to explain that question a little bit, I can try to answer that. Can you connect DVR to this camera system? That is a good question. Honestly, I don't know the answer to that. You will have to get in touch, Andy, to our tech team. It's a little bit beyond my limit. I'm sorry. I'm fairly sure you can, but I don't want to answer it yet. Best thing to do is to get in contact with our tech team. You can email us at customerservice@bravery.safety or give us a call. I imagine you could. I'm fairly confident you could, because it should just be like a regular camera system where you can kind of install a DVR instead of like the power harness or the multiplexer. So it should be fine, but run that by our tech team first. Is the monitor single view or multi-view? It's a single view display. So you'll only be able to view one camera at a time, but it'll be full display. So it'll be a full 7-inch display for each of the cameras, and you can rotate through them. All right, any other questions on that? All right, so we're going to move along. Another new system, we have a mirror-link camera system. So really it's just a new display. It's the same camera that we were just looking at. A new display which comes with mirror-link function. What this does, it's a really cool system. It allows you to mirror your mobile device on this monitor. So you can kind of sync up your phone to this display. It's very quick. It takes literally like 10 seconds. And then the monitor will display your phone, your smartphone. What it's convenient for is things like if you want to, let's say, have a backup camera and also view like navigation from your phone, instead of mounting both this monitor and your smartphone on the dash, you can just mirror link your phone and then have the GPS navigation displayed right onto this monitor. So that way you can use the same monitor basically for all phone functions and for your backup camera. Main convenient thing would probably be like navigation, GPS navigation, but really you could use anything that you want to use your phone for. You can display on this monitor and then use for a backup camera as well. 2 camera inputs. So the system that we're looking at here for $300 comes with 1 camera. You can add an additional camera to that. Again, it could be any one of our cameras. So it's not a specific camera. It could be, you can add a side camera, you can add a small camera, you can add anything to it. Camera specs is going to be the same. So it's the same 130 degree, 18 infrared, IP69K camera. But like I said, it could be any camera with that system. Really, the update here is in the display. Any questions? All right, seems like we're good. We're going to move along. Blind spot sensor system. So we introduced recently, one of these has been around actually for a little bit. The other one is fairly new. The regular blind spot sensor systems you guys might have seen, the BESO2. The new one is the microwave sensor systems. They work very similarly. Basically what you do is you mount a sensor on the rear sides of the vehicle, on either side, one on each side, and it detects objects or vehicles in the blind spot. So in the vehicle's blind spot, one of the main blind spots on a vehicle is towards the back and towards the side of the vehicle. So that's where you would mount these sensors, and it detects those objects or vehicles in that blind spot. It warns you, so it comes with a little speaker, and in the image there is these like visual kind of buttons. You install these buttons in the A pillar on the vehicle. That's the pillar that goes between like the windshield and the door, the passenger and the driver door. Those pillars right there, you would install one on each side, and then they light up when there would be an object when it detects an object in the blind spot. These little buttons line up, so that'll be how it warns you of obstacles or vehicles. And then there's an audible alert as well, and you can set that to different things. But usually the way it works is that if you have your if you have your turning signal on, you'll get a visual and audible alert, and if not, you'll just get a visual alert. So it's a really smart system. Great for blind spots. The BESO2, so the kind of regular blind spot sensor system has a 6-meter range. The microwave ones have a much larger range of 15 meters. The main difference between them is how you mount the sensors. The regular blind spot sensor systems, you actually have to drill holes on the rear side of your vehicle and mount these sensors kind of flush, sticking out on either side, just like regular proximity sensors. The microwave sensors are really cool because they go through like a panel or like the bumper, so you can mount it behind, like the wall or the panel or like the bumper panel on a vehicle, and it will sense through that. It's also good for much larger vehicles, the microwave sensor system, so you can use it on up to I think it's 45 feet. So you can use it in RVs, buses, trucks, stuff like that. Just mount these microwave sensors towards the back side of the vehicle, and it will detect through the sides of the vehicle objects in your blind spot. Really cool system. Questions. Do these work on dump trucks? So dump trucks might be tricky because they don't work so well going through metal, the microwave sensor systems. So the microwave sensor systems it's really designed more for like RVs where you have fiberglass paneling, stuff like that. You can mount it right behind that and it'll detect right through. Or on like smaller vehicles, you can just kind of take off the rear bumper panel, mount them in that panel and then drill it back on. But for a dump truck, if it's going through metal, it might have a little trouble. Does it only work once the terminal speed is reached, or is it always on? It's a good question. It does only work once the speed is reached. I don't remember what that speed is, but I think it's pretty slow. I think it's like 4 or 5 miles. That's when it will kick in. So it's a good question because you don't want these on, I suppose, when you're parked or, all the time. So as long as you're driving, I believe the speed is 4 or 5 miles per hour. That's when the system will kick in. Do you have a pic of unit installed? I don't on hand have any picture of this unit installed. Again, you can get in contact with us, email us at customer service at Rear View Safety. We'll be able to see if we can pull up a picture for you, but offhand right now, don't have an image of it installed. Okay. Any other questions on those systems? This is 2 separate systems. If you realize the model numbers, one is BES02, one is BES02-MV. So it's 2 separate systems. It's kind of just the same idea. So I threw it together here. Okay, moving along. We have the 360 surround view camera system. This is a really cool system. We came out with it a couple months ago, but we just came out with a newer system which goes for vehicles even up to 50 feet. So you guys might be familiar with it already, but we came out with it really, really recently, and it's already becoming super popular. What is it? It's a system that you install 4 cameras on either side and then the front and the back of a vehicle. And then what it does is it stitches together a like 3D kind of 360-degree view surrounding your vehicle. So you can see I threw in a little image example there. It makes it as if you're looking at your vehicle from the sides or like above. So it's really cool. What you can do is you can rotate around your vehicle manually. You can also see a bird's eye view. So it'll give you a view like you're looking directly from above your vehicle. It'll give you a view like that as well. So great system for all kind of driving situations. It'll give you a view of who's in your blind spot. Great for parking, parallel parking, backing up. It's really good for everything. It also records. So in the kind of control box comes with a recording option. You can install a micro SD card up to 64 gig, and it will record all camera feeds. It also has regular recording functions like loop recording, where once the SD card is full, it'll loop over and start recording over the oldest footage. Stuff like G-sensor that it'll recognize kind of events. So the G-sensor recognizes vehicle movement or like unusual like impacts or like sudden stops, stuff like that. And the associated video with that impact will be saved so that it's not overwrite. It'll be like overwrite protected. So that means even if the card gets overridden, the 64 gig gets ridden over with new footage, the footage associated with that G-sensor event will not be overridden. So it'll always be saved. Also have trigger options. So this is really cool because it gives you a whole bunch of options with these cameras. You can set a separate trigger for each of the cameras. So each one, you can do, let's say, turning signal triggers the right camera or the left camera, backup for the backup camera, stuff like that. But not only that, it also has a couple stages in the triggers. So you can, let's say, turn the right signal to trigger the right camera, and it'll kind of rotate the view to the right side of the vehicle. And then you can, in that kind of right side, there are 3 viewing options. You can hit it again to like view like a kind of another angle from the right side, and then again it will show you the actual view from the camera. So not like the 360 stitch view, but the actual view. So, and that's with each of the cameras. So it's a really cool system, whole bunch of kind of functions and flexibility. And like I said, we just came out with a new one that goes for vehicles up to 50 feet. So we always had the one for the 25-foot vehicles. The new one is the 50-foot one Works basically exactly the same. Cameras are slightly different, and it's good for vehicles like RVs, trucks, buses, stuff like that. Where are we? Can you choose display vehicle? Caravan or pickup? Yeah. So in the kind of stitched together view, it gives you a whole range of vehicles you can choose from. It's a completely imagined image, obviously, so you can kind of throw in anything there. Can you use an upgraded backup camera with the system instead of the one that comes with it? I'm not sure what you mean by upgraded, but I don't believe you can use any cameras with this system as size for the ones that come with it. The reason is because they're super wide, like fisheye lenses. So it's like an ultra wide angle. I don't believe you can use other cameras with it, especially since you kind of need to calibrate it all together. It's a bit of a process, and I believe it only works with the cameras that come with the system. We have video demo. Yeah, so we actually have a video demo. We installed it on a vehicle here actually, and in Brooklyn we gave it a test a couple months ago. You can find that on our YouTube channel. You can just search us on YouTube, search Review Safety. There's a video there which has it's like a demonstration of this system, installed, how it looks. Yeah, so you can check that out there. Does the camera have glass lenses? Carlos, I'm not exactly sure. You can email us or call us. I don't know exactly what the lenses on these cameras are. Anti-fog coating. Again, I'm not sure. Sorry, good questions, but I'm not exactly sure about that. You can get in contact with our tech team. They'll have the answers for that. Alrighty. Oh, we're running a little late here. 25 minutes. Okay, so those are basically the new products and systems that we came out with recently. Like I said, we'll do this maybe every month or two. We're always coming out with new products, and so this is going to be the new way that we'll be able to kind of communicate that to our customers. Everyone will be in the loop. Just very quickly, we're kind of running a little late here. We'll go through some gift ideas for the upcoming holiday. And we'll start with our Wi-Fi backup camera system. So this is a really popular system. The reason why it's top of our list on gifts is a couple reasons. First of all, it's really easy to install, so it's not too much of a mission to get going. It can be installed on a whole range of vehicles, so it's very versatile. Pretty cheap, very good price point. So it's $130. So really easy gift idea. And the way it works is similar to the Wi-Fi Hitch camera that we saw before. You install the backup camera on the back of the vehicle. This is a permanent install though. So you install the backup camera, you connect it to a transmitter. That transmitter creates a Wi-Fi network. On your mobile device, an iOS or Apple or Android phone, you can connect to that Wi-Fi network. And then once connected, you can view the camera on the app that's available on the App Store or Google Play Store. To view the camera feed. So really convenient system. Doesn't come with a display, so it can be viewed from wherever the person's phone is. Usually a person has their phone. Often people have their phone anyhow displayed like on the dash. So this just makes it a lot easier than having to install an additional monitor, etc. Super popular system, and you can also record the camera feed and take still images. So there's a bunch of really cool features with this system as well. Obviously, it's a waterproof camera, has a really wide viewing angle. So this is 4 gift ideas. This is our top of the list. It's what we would recommend. Another one we recommend is a backup camera system which comes with built-in sensors. So this is also recommended because it's a very easy install. It's a license plate camera, so it kind of just screws on right on top of the license plate, together with the license plate. So really easy to install. You do need to run wires for it still, so you need to run cabling through the vehicle. So it's not as easy as the previous one, but still pretty convenient. And it comes with those built-in sensors, so it'll give you a view from your backup camera, and it'll give you distance to obstacles behind you. It'll also give you audio alerts. It'll start beeping when you get too close. So super cool system. Also has a really good price point at just $140 retail. Next on our list is dash cameras. So dash cameras in general are great gift ideas. Again, very versatile, can be used for really any vehicle. For those of you not familiar, the idea of a dash camera is you install it on your front windshield, facing out the front of the vehicle. What it does is it records basically your drive. So it's good for stuff like insurance, accidents, proof of fault, even like police brutality. Basically anything that you might want proof of when you drive is what a dash camera is useful for. So you install it. It basically comes on when you turn on the vehicle, goes off when you turn the vehicle off. So you really just install it and don't think about it. It's just always there. If you need it, if you need that footage, you're able to pull out the footage and use it for accidents or insurance or any kind of those reasons. This one here is the one we recommend off the bat mainly because of its price point. It's really cheap and it has all the basic functions of a dash camera. So it has full HD recording. It has a G sensor function like we mentioned before. So it'll lock files associated with accidents, so they'll be override protected. There's night vision with the 12 infrared, so really great gift idea here as well. I've been skipping some questions, sorry. Powered by Lyle. I'm not sure what that question was about. It was about the dash camera. So dash cameras get powered usually by plugging right into the 12-volt outlet in a vehicle, like the cigarette lighter plug. You can, if you want, plug it in, like hardwire it into ignition power or to the vehicle battery. Usually, though, it's kind of just plugged right in. And that's another reason why it's a good gift idea. It's very easy to install. Anyone can do it. Let's be honest, if we're making YouTube videos. Yeah, that's another advantage, absolutely. For those of you who might have seen those pretty crazy footage captured on dash cameras, so yeah, you can be the next YouTube sensation. SD card, it records into a micro SD card. Most of the dash cameras record onto micro SD cards, and the range of SD cards depends on the dash camera. This one is up to a 32 gig, so you can put an SD card, a micro SD card up to 32 gig, and it records 32 gig of footage. If you have hardwire, won't it damage it? That last question there, I'm not exactly sure what you mean by. Oh, you're saying is the question, can you have it running continuously? I think that might be the question. If it is, yeah, you can. So if you want the dash camera to be running continuously, even when the vehicle's off, you can run it to the vehicle's battery. The only thing there is, if you have it on long enough without driving the vehicle, you're going to drain that battery. So what you could do is we have systems where you can monitor the vehicle battery and it'll shut it off if it gets too low. We have other kind of external batteries that you can connect the dash camera to, but it's definitely possible to have a dash camera running even while the vehicle's off. There will be just certain things you will need to consider, take care of. How many minutes of video on a 32 gig? On a 32 gig, you're looking at, it's probably a couple days. I'll have to check exactly. It depends on the footage that you're recording, the resolution. If you're recording at the full HD, I believe 32 gig will give you about 3-4 days. I will have to double check that, so if you want to make sure on that question, on the answer to that question, get in touch with us. We have like a table with all those details. How do you retrieve the information? It's a good question. Usually it's manually. So usually you don't need to kind of retrieve the information often. If something happens, you would go into the dash camera, grab the SD card, put it into your computer manually, and pull up the footage. We do have dash cameras that come with Wi-Fi, which means you can connect it to like your smartphone, and you can view and download footage directly from your phone. So that there's options like that. This one that we're displaying is a much more basic one, so it doesn't have that function. But we have some Blackview dash cameras and some Lucas dash cameras that have that function. They'll be running a little more expensive though, so more like the $200, $300 range. All right, moving right along. Last one that we have in our gift ideas is the driver fatigue system. Is our ViewMate driver fatigue system. Super cool device here. What it does is it mounts on the dash or somewhere near the dash facing the driver, and it detects drowsiness and sleepiness in the driver and alerts them if they're getting drowsy or getting sleepy. It sends out an audible alert to make sure a driver doesn't fall asleep. Super important system. As you see the stats there, 60% of adults have admitted to driven while sleepy, 37% admit to have actually fallen asleep. So it's not like it's too rare of a situation. It really happens very often, unfortunately. The way it installs is similar to a dash camera. You would plug it right into the 12-volt outlet, the cigarette outlet plug, and it'll just be on, as long as the vehicle's on. So it's something, again, that you don't really need to think about. It'll help if you need it, if you're, for whatever reason, start falling asleep, it'll wake you up, but it might save your life. Really smart system, works really well, knows the difference between blinking and drowsy, works at night, obviously, and very quick install, like we said. So once again, we recommend this as a gift. It's a really important system, and versatile, and very easy to install. Let me see questions here. Jim, anyone that has issues with heat and shuts down. Was that question on the dash camera, or was it on the driver fatigue? Jim, was that question on the dash camera or the driver fatigue system? Both of them can work in pretty hot weather. I don't know the stats in front of me. I don't know the specs in front of me on what degrees they go to. They'll both be different, but both of them can go to pretty hot. I mean, usually these things go to can work in degrees that never really happen. So usually they function in all kind of heat conditions. Oh, and an area same question. At what temperatures does it work? So again, I don't have the specs in front of me, unfortunately, of the exact temperatures. You can get in contact with us. We'll send you those, right over. But they usually have quite a wide range of, heat and cold resistance. There are certain Lucas dash cameras that have an even wider range. So they can go to extreme cold and extreme heat temperatures. But most of these, dash cameras and driver fatigue systems, they work in most weather, in most heats and cold. Camera. He was talking about the camera. Yeah. So again, Jim, don't have the exact specs. Sorry, but you can get in contact with us. We'll send it right over. Okay, so I think we ran a little bit over time, but it's pretty much on schedule there. So yeah, thank you all for joining. And if you have any more general questions, feel free to let me know now. We'll keep it open for just a couple more minutes, and yeah, we'll be here. We'll do this every month, every 2 months, and yeah, we'll keep in contact. I'm going to stay online for just a couple more minutes. If there's any more questions, feel free. Oh, here, what happens to the recordings if you don't retrieve on a daily dash cam? So with dash cameras, they have loop recording. So what it does is, once the SD card is full, it'll loop over and start recording over the oldest footage. So with a 32 gig SD card, like I said, it'll be a couple of days worth of footage that you'll get until it starts looping over. But then once it's full, it'll loop over and start re-recording on the SD card. The idea is that you only really need the footage if something happens. So if something happens, then you'll have that footage to go back on. If not, it'll just record over it, and you'll lose it unless you need it. Will this broadcast be available online? What we're going to do with the recording, this webinar was recorded. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually send it out to everyone that registered. So you'll be able to get a recording of the full webinar as well. In your opinion, what is the best dash camera under $100? I would definitely recommend the one we just presented under $100. It's $70. It's really cheap, and it's super good. It's really small. I didn't mention that either. It's like this tiny kind of compact camera. You can hardly see it. Full HD recording, all the basic functions like loop recording and G-sensor, infrared night vision. I would definitely recommend that one. The model number is the RVS-400C. It should be on the presentation as well. How long does it take to see the rear view with the first gift using iPhone SE? The first gift, I imagine you mean not the Wi-Fi Hitch camera, but the Wi-Fi backup camera. So it's pretty instant. I mean, it's like a wireless connection, so there is going to be a slight delay compared to wired. Wired cameras give you an instant view from behind you. Wireless and Wi-Fi, there will be a slight delay, but it's less than a second. So it's really hardly noticeable. It's basically like a completely live image from the camera. All right. If there's any more questions, I think I'm gonna. Headlights, blindside camera, will you bring a solution in the near future? Headlights, blindside cameras, will we bring a solution for the near future? I'm not sure what that question means. Anario. We do have side cameras or blind side cameras. None of the ones that we looked at here had those side cameras, but we definitely do have side cameras that you can install towards the front, looking back on the side of the vehicle, and those get rid of the entire blind spot. You'll be able to see the entire blind spot on the side of the vehicle. So yeah, we definitely do have side cameras. All right. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time.